Good morning, students. Today, in continuation with the lesson Australia and its physical features, today we are going to continue with the rest of the physical features, namely the Eastern Highlands, the coastal plains, the Great Barrier Reef, and the Rift Valley of Australia. So, let us begin with the first part of the Eastern Highlands. So, as far as the Eastern Highlands are concerned, it is found in the eastern part of Australia. So, the region consists of a long arc-shaped range of mountain, which is known as the Great Dividing Range. It runs parallel to the east coast. This is the east coast of Australia, and it is running parallel to the east coast from the Cape York in the north to Bass Strait in the south. The average altitude of the Eastern Highlands is about 900 meters above the sea level. The most important ranges are the Blue Mountains and the Australian Alps. Now, the Blue Mountains is a rugged region which is found on the west of Sydney in the state of New South Wales. It has got several steep cliffs, waterfalls, and eucalyptus forests. A very interesting feature of the Blue Mountains is that eucalyptus droplets emitted from the forests combine with dust particles and water vapor, and this scatters the rays of lights, giving the mountain a predominantly blue color. So here you can see, as the name suggests, Blue Mountains, it is mainly because of the eucalyptus forests which give it the predominantly blue color. That is the oil which is emitted from the eucalyptus trees. Several rivers descend from these mountains, and most of them are harnessed for hydroelectricity, because most of these rivers are very short, swift. A few are very large and long rivers like the Murray and Darling. But there are several tributaries and several rivers which are very short and swift, and they are very useful for harnessing hydroelectricity. Mount Kosciuszko is the highest peak in Australia, and it is located in the Eastern Highlands. The coastal plains of Australia exist as a narrow boundary along the eastern coast, the western coast, and in the southern coast of Australia. The eastern coastal plain is drained by several swift rivers which rise in the eastern slopes of the Eastern Highlands. That is, the Eastern Highlands are running from north to south. So, the ones which is facing the east is known as the Eastern Highlands, and the one which is facing the west is known as the Western Slopes. So, several rivers are originating from the eastern slopes, and they begin to move along the eastern part and drain most of these areas. The Nullarbor Plain, which is found in the southern area of Australia, is a coastal plain. and it is this coastal plain which is very, very wide. Apart from the four major physical divisions which we have already learnt, namely the Western Plateau, the Central Lowlands, the Eastern Highlands, and the coastal plains, there are two important features which are very, very significant when we study about Australia. They are the Great Barrier Reef and the Rift Valley of Australia. The Great Barrier Reef lies in the northeastern or mostly eastern part of Australia. It is nearly 2,300 kilometers long and it is considered to be the largest reef in the world. Now, this reef, the Great Barrier Reef, has been formed by tiny sea animals and they are known as corals. And they live near the sea floor in warm, shallow water. These animals secrete calcium carbonate, which gets solidified into rocks after the coral dies. With the passage of time, their skeletal remains result in the formation of a ridge-like structure below the sea level. So here you can see the colorful corals which are found in the Great Barrier Reef. They also provide a habitat to different types of fishes. That is why many a times they are also known as a tropical forest below the water because of the great biodiversity which they project. The Great Barrier Reef, though, is a tourist's paradise, but sometimes it is a hazard to navigation because it obstructs movement of ships. Lastly, we come to the Rift Valley of Australia. Now, the Rift Valley of Australia is found in the southern part of Australia. It has got long valleys with steep walls and has got many plains. Lake Torrens and the Gulf of Spencer are found over here. So, this entire area comes under the Rift Valley of Australia. So, students, in this module, we have learnt about the last few features of Australia, which are very, very significant as far as the physical features of Australia is concerned. So, that is what we have enough time for today. Thank you.